Have you ever noticed how the smallest traditions, a Sunday dinner, a holiday recipe, or even a favorite card game, seem to linger in your memory long after the moment has passed? In retirement, those simple family rituals can turn into something much bigger, a source of joy, connection, and even purpose. Today, let's talk about how turning family traditions into retirement happiness isn't just possible, but deeply rewarding. Think back to the first tradition you can remember. Maybe it was decorating a tree in the living room or gathering around the table while someone in the family told the same story year after year. Those rituals might have felt ordinary at the time, but now, in retirement, they carry a weight that is hard to describe. Traditions have a way of anchoring us, almost like steady posts in the river of life. When so much around us changes, jobs end, children grow up, neighborhoods shift, traditions stand as reminders that certain things remain constant. They connect us to the people we love and to the person we've always been. For retirees, this anchor can feel especially powerful. Leaving a career or stepping away from routines that define daily life can sometimes create a sense of drifting. Suddenly, the clock feels wide open, but also unfamiliar. Revisiting traditions helps bring back structure, not in the rigid way of work schedules, but in a comforting rhythm. A Friday night dinner, a yearly fishing trip, or even the habit of writing holiday cards grounds you in something familiar. It reassures you that while one chapter has closed, the story continues with recognizable patterns of joy. These traditions also bridge time itself. When you teach a grandchild the same card game your own parents taught you, you're not just filling an afternoon. You're placing that child in the same stream of memory you once stood in, letting them feel connected to people they may never have met. It's as though traditions hold echoes of voices long gone, reminding us that family is not just who is present, but also who has shaped us along the way. This is why small gestures can carry enormous meaning. Passing down a recipe or retelling the origin of a holiday custom keeps the past alive, while giving the present a deeper sense of place. There's also comfort in repetition. The world outside may feel unpredictable, but knowing that every year there will be a familiar gathering, or that every week there's a chance to share a meal, helps keep life steady. That steadiness becomes a source of happiness in retirement, offering continuity when so much else feels new or uncertain. Traditions anchor us not just in time, but in belonging. They tell us, you are still part of this story, and this story still matters. And that realization often brings a kind of happiness no material possession can match. It's easy to imagine that happiness in retirement comes from grand adventures or major life changes, but often it's the smallest rituals that end up carrying the most weight. Think of the simple act of brewing a pot of tea in the afternoon and inviting a neighbor or grandchild to sit with you. That tiny ritual might only take half an hour, but over time it becomes something people look forward to, a touchstone that gives the day meaning. These small habits build invisible threads of connection that hold families together far more tightly than occasional big events. One man shared how he began writing short notes to his granddaughter every Friday. Nothing dramatic, just a little card with a thought or a doodle. At first, it seemed almost too small to matter, but soon she started collecting them, saving each one in a box. What started as a 5-minute weekly habit turned into a ritual that gave her comfort and reminded him that even in retirement, he still had an important role in shaping someone's life. The simplicity was the point. It didn't require planning or money, only consistency and care. These rituals work because they create a sense of rhythm. In retirement, days can sometimes feel long and unstructured, and having even the smallest anchor can transform the way time feels. A morning walk with a spouse, calling a sibling every Sunday, or baking bread once a week may seem ordinary, but those little moments become markers. They give life a pattern, and that pattern becomes a source of quiet joy. Over time, what seems ordinary becomes extraordinary in its meaning. Small rituals also have a way of sneaking into memory. Ask someone about their favorite childhood moments, and many will mention things like bedtime stories, pancake Saturdays, or sitting on the porch with their grandparents. None of these were grand gestures, yet they stick because they carried warmth and consistency. In retirement, you have the chance to be the creator of those same memories for the next generation, showing that happiness doesn't have to be complicated. The real impact of small rituals is that they make people feel seen and valued. A daily cup of coffee shared, a quick phone call, a silly joke told at the same time every week. These small threads weave into a larger fabric of love and connection. And in the end, it's often those simple, repeated moments that bring the deepest sense of happiness. Many people believe traditions are something handed down from the past, as if they must be inherited to be meaningful. But one of the most liberating and surprising truths is that it's never too late to create new traditions, even in retirement. In fact, this stage of life may be the perfect time to start them. You finally have the space to slow down, notice what really matters, and shape rituals that reflect not only where you've been, but also who you are now. Creating traditions later in life can give a renewed sense of purpose and bring family closer in ways you may not expect. Picture a retired couple who decided to start Tuesday taco nights. It wasn't something from their childhood, nor was it tied to any holiday. They simply wanted a weekly reason for their kids and grandkids to gather without the formality of a big occasion. At first, it felt a little odd. Why tacos? Why Tuesday? But after a few weeks, it became their thing. Now, family members look forward to it, and the grandchildren will one day remember their grandparents' home as the place where tacos and laughter went hand in hand. This new tradition didn't need history behind it to carry meaning. It grew into one by repetition and love. Starting something new also sends a powerful message to the younger generation. It shows that joy and connection aren't limited by age, that you're still writing chapters in the family story. A grandfather who begins hosting a yearly family storytelling night is not only keeping relatives entertained, but also modeling that traditions are living, evolving practices. They can be born at any time, and their value comes from the feelings they create, not the years behind them. What's counterintuitive is that many assume retirement is about preserving what's already there. Yet, building something new often strengthens ties even more than maintaining the old. New traditions bring freshness, spark curiosity, and allow everyone to feel part of something unfolding together. It doesn't have to be elaborate. Maybe it's baking a new dessert every month, having an annual backyard movie night, or starting a gratitude jar, where each family member adds notes throughout the year. Over time, these fresh habits become the very memories that children and grandchildren treasure. By creating new traditions later in life, you're not just filling time. You're weaving yourself deeper into your family's future. It proves that traditions aren't only about looking back, they're also about looking forward with hope, creativity, and love. Family traditions often seem rooted in emotion, memory, and connection, but they can also quietly teach lessons about money and values. In retirement, when financial awareness becomes especially important, traditions can act as subtle but powerful reminders of how joy doesn't always have to come from spending large amounts. They can show younger generations that happiness can be built on shared time and creativity rather than expensive outings or gifts. In many ways, traditions become a form of financial wisdom, passing along lessons that go far beyond budgets and bank accounts. Think about something as simple as a potluck dinner. Each person contributes one dish, and together the family enjoys a full, abundant meal. Not only does this keep costs manageable for everyone, but it also spreads responsibility and involvement. Over time, this shared practice teaches that collective effort creates richness, often more satisfying than one person carrying the entire burden. For retirees who want to stretch their resources without missing out on togetherness, traditions like this may become a practical and joyful solution. Even holiday traditions can model financial mindfulness. Instead of lavish gift exchanges, some families create a tradition of writing heartfelt letters or giving small handmade items. The tradition shifts the focus from money spent to thoughtfulness expressed. Younger family members who grow up in that culture may learn that value is not measured in price tags, but in care and effort. For retirees, this not only reduces financial pressure, but also leaves a legacy of values that can guide generations. There's also a deeper layer. Traditions often show that reuse and simplicity can be honorable choices. Passing down a family recipe that uses affordable, staple ingredients demonstrates how meals of comfort don't require extravagance. Handing over a quilt, a set of tools, or even a budget notebook can serve as symbols of resourcefulness and responsibility. These practices quietly reinforce the idea that financial health is not about constant accumulation, but about making wise, sustainable choices. Perhaps the most powerful wisdom traditions teach is that abundance doesn't always look like excess. A weekly walk, an annual camping trip, or a ritual of cooking together shows that shared experiences are what endure, not the price of the activity. In retirement, this perspective can bring peace of mind, knowing that joy is still accessible, even without large spending. By leaning on traditions, retirees can enjoy meaningful moments while modeling for their families that the best wealth is measured in connection and memory, not in cost. When we think about legacy, we often picture material things, money, property, or heirlooms. But the most lasting legacies are often the traditions we pass down, the habits and rituals that quietly shape how future generations see the world. In retirement, traditions become one of the clearest ways to bridge generations, weaving a thread that connects grandparents, parents, and children in a story that feels continuous, even as each chapter changes. These moments are not just about preserving the past, but about giving the next generation something meaningful to carry forward. Imagine a grandmother teaching her granddaughter how to knead bread the way her own mother once taught her. That granddaughter may not remember every detail of the recipe, but she'll always remember the feeling of flour on her hands, the rhythm of the work, and the stories shared across the counter. That tradition becomes more than food. It becomes a symbol of continuity, of learning by doing, and of love expressed through patience. Even after the grandmother is gone, the act of baking that bread will bring her presence back into the room. For retirees, these traditions are not about perfection or grandeur. They're about embedding values in daily life. A grandfather who sits down once a year to review his simple budgeting notes with his adult children is not just passing along financial tips. He's modeling responsibility and stewardship. A holiday where every family member shares something they are grateful for is not just about the moment. It's about teaching gratitude as a way of life. Each tradition whispers a lesson, and those lessons echo across time. The beauty of bridging generations through traditions is that it creates shared ownership. Younger family members are not just observers, they become participants. They grow into the roles of storytellers, cooks, organizers, and keepers of rituals. And in this exchange, retirees find reassurance that what matters to them will not be forgotten. It's not only comforting but empowering to know that the quilt you stitched, the prayers you said, or the songs you sang will live on in voices and hands beyond your own. In a world where change happens quickly, traditions are the steady rope linking one generation to the next. For those in retirement, leaning into these practices offers a profound sense of meaning. You are not just looking back at what you've built, but actively shaping how your family's future will feel. That continuity, carried through legacy, may be one of the greatest gifts you can leave behind. When people think about traditions, they often imagine serious or formal occasions, big holidays, milestone celebrations, or family gatherings that carry weight and importance. But some of the most powerful traditions are actually built around fun, the kind that makes everyone laugh until their sides hurt or remember a silly moment years later. In retirement, these lighter traditions can bring a joy that feels refreshing and youthful, reminding us that happiness is not only about reflection and legacy, but also about playfulness and laughter shared across generations. Picture a family that gathers every summer for a backyard campout, complete with mismatched tents, slightly burnt marshmallows, and ghost stories told with exaggerated drama. Nothing about the event is polished, yet it becomes a highlight for everyone. The kids can't wait to run around with flashlights, while the grandparents enjoy watching the fun unfold and joining in when they can. That tradition is not about perfection, it's about joy in its purest form. For retirees, these moments are a chance to step into a role that isn't about teaching or guiding, but simply about being present and playful. Shared fun also carries a unique power because it levels the field between generations. A grandparent and a grandchild may not share the same hobbies or pace of life, but both can laugh over a board game, cheer during a family talent show, or sing loudly to a favorite song on a road trip. These activities break down barriers, reminding everyone that family connection doesn't always need serious effort. Sometimes it's built through laughter and inside jokes that only make sense within your circle. There's also a hidden strength in prioritizing fun during retirement. It can be easy to think of this stage of life as one focused on health concerns, financial planning, or slowing down. But when retirees choose to anchor family traditions in joy, they shift the tone for everyone else. They show younger relatives that growing older doesn't mean giving up on fun, that playfulness can be a lifelong quality. This perspective leaves a lasting impression, encouraging families to see aging not as an end, but as another season filled with light-hearted moments. The joy of shared fun may seem simple, but it often becomes what families treasure most. The silly songs, the games no one plays quite right, the shared jokes that resurface year after year. These are the details that linger. In retirement, leaning into traditions of fun not only keeps spirits high, but also ensures that family bonds are filled with laughter, energy, and warmth. So when you think of retirement happiness, don't only picture travel plans or financial spreadsheets. Think of traditions, old and new, big and small. They're the threads that weave your story into your family's future. If you have a tradition that's brought you joy in retirement, share it in the comments below. Your story might inspire someone else to start one of their own. And if you found this helpful, consider subscribing for more ideas on strengthening family bonds and finding joy in retirement.